All right, so yesterday we multiplied a monomial with a monomial, and we multiplied a monomial with different polynomials. So today we're going to be multiplying polynomials together with other polynomials. We'll start off with binomials. So if I have s plus 4 times s minus 2, what I have to do is I have to take this first term, s, and I have to multiply it times everything in the second parentheses. So you can rewrite it as s times s minus 2, and then I have to take my plus 4, and I also multiply that times s minus 2. So all you're doing is you're distributing the first one to the second one. So if we then distribute from there, s times s is s squared, s times negative 2 is minus 2s, and then here we have 4 times s, which gives us plus 4s, and 4 times negative 2 gives us minus 8. And I see that in the middle I have like terms. I have a negative 2s and a positive 4s, so you have to combine your like terms. So I end up with s squared plus 2s minus 8. Okay, did you guys follow that okay? All right, so I'm going to let you guys do one on your whiteboards. We're going to do x plus 5 times x minus 7. All right, so you're going to take that first x and multiply it times the x and the negative 7. And then you're going to take the plus 5 and multiply it times the x minus 7. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 7 is minus 7x. Here we get plus 5x and minus 35. Now I've got like terms in the middle, so I combine those. X squared minus 2x minus 35. Most of you had that. All right, this next one is for your notes. We've got 8m squared minus n times m squared minus 3n. So I take my 8m squared, and I multiply it times what's in the parentheses, and then I take my minus n. The minus goes with the n, so don't forget that. Don't just write n. Okay, so now if I distribute, 8m squared times m squared now gives me 8m to what power? What, everybody? The 4th. And then 8 times 3 is negative 24, and then I have m squared n. And then on the second half, I do minus n times m squared, so minus m squared n. I write them in alphabetical order, and that way it makes it easier for you to see your like terms. Because if I write n m squared, you might not notice it's the same as the one before it. So if you write them alphabetical, you won't run into that problem. And then we do negative n times negative 3n, so it becomes a positive 3n squared. And then combining my like terms in the middle here, I have 8m to the 4th minus 25m squared n, and then plus 3n squared. Any questions on that? Okay, so on your whiteboards then, I'm going to have you do 2x minus y squared times x plus 4y squared. Okay, so I'm going to take 2x and multiply that times x plus 4y squared. And I'm going to do minus y squared times x plus 4y squared. So 2x times x gives me 2x squared. 2 times 4 is 8. xy squared, and then minus xy squared minus 4y to the fourth when you multiply those two. Did everybody follow what I did? So those of you that got it wrong, have you figured out yet where you went wrong? Okay. Then when you combine your middle terms, 8 minus 1 is 7. So 7xy squared and then minus 4y to the fourth. Okay, this one's for your notes. All right, so now I have x minus 4, the quantity squared. You have to remember this is a binomial times a binomial, so it's not going to just be x squared minus 4 squared. It's not going to work out that way. You have to rewrite it as x minus 4 times x minus 4, and make sure you do the distributive property so you end up with all of your terms and you don't skip anything. So I'm going to do x times x minus 4, and then I'm going to do the minus 4 times x minus 4. So x times x gives me x squared. X times negative 4 gives me minus 4x. Negative 4 times x gives me minus 4x. And negative 4 times negative 4 gives me a positive 16. So I have a negative 4 and a negative 4 in the middle. So that adds up to negative 8x plus 16. So you see how you don't end up with just an x squared and a 4 squared? There's that middle term of minus 8x. So it's important that you guys rewrite it with both binomials and do the distributive property. So on your whiteboards, let's have you guys do this one. Alright, so you guys have x plus 3 times x plus 3. So x times x plus 3 times x plus 3. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 3 is what, everybody? 9. Few of you said 6. Then when we combine our like terms, we get x squared plus 6x plus 9. Alright. Let's do this one in your notes now. X plus 3 times x minus 3. Alright, so I have an x times x minus 3 and a plus 3 times x minus 3. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is minus 3x. Plus 3 times x is plus 3x, and then that comes out to a negative 9. So what do you guys notice in the middle here? The 3's are going to cancel each other out. Yeah, so this one actually ends up being just x squared minus 9. So sometimes you will have problems where they cancel out in the middle. So I'll have you guys give one a try. How about 2x plus 7 times 2x minus 7? Okay, so it looks like most of you were getting it. We've got 2x times 2x minus 7 and a plus 7 times 2x minus 7. So 2x times 2x gives me 4x squared. 2x times negative 7 gives me negative 14x. Here I have a positive 14x. And then 7 times negative 7 is negative 49. So here the middle terms drop out again, and you end up with 4x squared minus 49. Alright, so now we are going to multiply a binomial and a trinomial together. But it's still doing the same thing. The main thing you need to be careful with these is make sure you write neatly. Because if it's sloppy, you're going to lose track of where you're at. So you need to give yourself room. Don't squish these problems onto, a single line. Alright? Give yourself room to work these problems. All right, so I'm going to take my x and multiply it times the second parentheses. So x times x squared plus 4x minus 6. And then I'm going to take my negative 5 and multiply it also times the parentheses. X squared plus 4x minus 6. So it's the same thing you've been doing, it just is a little bit more work because there's a few more terms. But it's the same thing. X times x squared is x cubed. X times 4x is positive 4x squared. X times negative 6 is minus 6x. Now I move on to the second one. Negative 5 times x squared is negative 5x squared. Negative 5 times a positive 4x is plus 20x. And negative 5 times negative 6 is plus 30. Now I have to go through and find my like terms. Yes, it is. Thank you for correcting me. It should be a negative 20x. Thank you. Okay, so looking for our like terms, we have just an x cubed. So that's the only one. So we write x cubed. And then I see I have a plus 4x squared and a minus 5x squared. So that becomes minus x squared. Then I have a negative 6x and a negative 20x, so that's negative 26x. And then the 30. So you end up with x cubed minus x squared minus 26x plus 30. So it's not any different than what you were doing, it's just there's a few extra things you're having to multiply together, but it's still the same idea. So I think you guys can do it. Here's one for you guys to do on your whiteboards. Okay, so when you distributed, the first time you should have got negative 8x cubed minus 20x squared plus 6x plus 20x squared plus 50x minus 15. And what I notice is that I have a negative 20x squared and a positive 20x squared, so those cancel out. So you're left with negative 8x cubed, and then you combine your plus 6 and your plus 50x to get plus 56x, and then you just have the minus 15. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks.